Good morning. Today is Sunday, June 10th, 2018. You're watching the CryptoSonar show. We have a lot in store for you today, and we're going to start right off the bat with CoinMarketCap and the market cap. It's dropped. It's dropped big time, and we are at 320 billion. And so that's pretty much is representative of a huge drop that we had yesterday in virtually every coin and token that is out there on the markets. You can see in the chart right here a huge drop yesterday. And what I want to talk about is yesterday, because this actually happened while I was recording yesterday's video. So we're going to go back, we're going to watch a little bit of that video, and we're going to go into what I said yesterday. But before we do, let's take a quick look at the change over the 24-hour period. As you can see, there is only one cryptocurrency that is up over the last 24 hours, and that is Tether. Now, Tether is a cryptocurrency that is tied to be what's called a stable value. And they're trying to tie this to USD, US dollar, at $1. And so the price, as you can see, is $1. So what a lot of folks do is that if they perceive that the market is going to go down, they will move their Bitcoin or their Ethereum or even some of their altcoins into Tether as a parking lot, because it will hold that value. And then as that dips down, they'll pick a re-entry point to possibly reinitialize the buy back into their coin, whether it's Bitcoin or Ethereum. So that's why, if you look at what the change is, it's showing up 0.16%. But as you can see, virtually everything is in the red in the top 100 coins, all the way down. And it's something that when you look at the market cap of where we're at today compared to yesterday, it doesn't look good from that standpoint. So let's take a look at what's going on right now in the market. And the first thing we're going to take a look at is BTC, Bitcoin. And when we look at Bitcoin, and this is a 1 hour chart, and I'm going to go to the 4 hour here. And what you will see is yesterday there was a huge drop off. And this drop off actually occurred while I was filming yesterday's video. And so what you'll see is it's just a massive fall off the cliff. If we take a look at where we were, not even a doji to predict what might happen. There's a small one here, but if you take a look at that and say, where do we drop all the way down to? If you take a look at the bottom of this wick here, pretty much 5.87% in a little over 11 hours to a full drop before we started a slight recovery phase. So let's take a look at what I said yesterday, and I'm going to go ahead and leave this up on the screen, and let's watch what I said yesterday in two different areas. First, I'm going to go into what was going on, and I'll stop it and look at the chart, and then we'll go into what I said a little bit later on in that video. So you can see there's been a lot of waffling lately. We're going to get right into the chart on Bitcoin. We're going to take a look at that. And this is a daily chart. And when you look at the daily chart, you say, okay, what's going on? Well, if you take a quick look at from here to here, we had over 27 days from February to March. Okay, I'm going to stop it right there for just a moment, because I want you to look at this area right here. You can see this trend line that I had drawn in what a lot of folks on the internet were calling an ascending triangle, myself included, but I'm going to go into a little bit of what went into that. We had a nice uptick. If you want to take a look at from over here to over here, over, again, 25 days from... So I'm talking about what happened in this ascension, but at the same time I then went into the volume and what was going on. So now we're going to go a little bit forward, and we're going to go to the 520 mark, I believe. Okay. Now watch what I say here, because look at this part right here. You see this? This happened while I was filming the video. So it broke that channel pretty much while I was filming it. I didn't catch it. I think I saw it a little bit, but I basically blew past it because I was so concentrating on what the content was that I was sharing about possibly what might happen around the 12th and 13th if this was to be confirmed as an ascending triangle. But watch what I said here, and watch this part closely. Again, this is all just part of the low, so you can't really take a look at that one. But what that says is possibly around the 12th or the 13th, it might break one direction or the other. Now, what the unknown at this point in time is we don't know whether it's going to break up or whether it's going to break down. That statement right there. We don't know at this time whether it's going to break up or whether it's going to break down. Again, that was at this phase, but again, with the low volumes, but watch. Here's the risk. The worry on the risk is if you take out this 4-hour chart and you go all the way back, the next line of resistance or next line of support we see is right around here. So you might see a drop. If it breaks, you might see a drop down to the 6,500 level. Okay, let's stop it right there. So basically what I was saying there is that if this ascending triangle located in this section over here, if it breaks, we might see a drop going all the way down to the 6,500 level, which is where the last major support line was. And so that's something that when I look at it in retrospect, it's this, you can't predict what's going to happen in a market. What the interesting thing and the lesson is in this is that I was looking at it exactly as it happened. Now, I don't know that we're going to go all the way down to the 6,500 level. Some people might say, well, their support is 7,100. So that's enough of that one. Let's take a look at Bitcoin, where we're at right now. We're at 72,1804. If I go over to the where we dropped to the low, if you look at the bottom of this wick right here, 71.65 I think was the low. Right around here, yes, 71.65 was a low that occurred yesterday. And so that's something that happened about 1 o'clock in the morning my time on June 10th. So we're at 72.1805 right now. And what this really goes into is the fact that technical analysis, charting, trend analysis, looking at things, Bollinger Bands, charts, and things of that nature, it can be worrisome to rely on anything anyone says in a YouTube video like even mine or any others that are out there on the internet, because we just don't know. Now, looking back at yesterday's video, I can say, wow, it was breaking down outside of my channel that I had put on there, and I found a different support level of 6,500. But now it seems that if we look at what's happening even in a 15-minute, we're bouncing off those lows and going back into waffling. But again, the volume, huge volume on the sell. We don't know what caused that yet. I checked Mt. Gox repository for addresses today. I didn't see anything happening over there. A lot of people were speculating whether it had to do with the CFTC coming out, the Commodities Futures Trading Commission coming out and talking about the investigation into some of the exchanges and manipulation. Well, anytime you have a dump like this, that's manipulation. Whether you want to admit it or not, something occurred and somebody or some entity or some group of people dumped it. And that happened all the way across the board. It happened in Bitcoin. Let's look at the top 10. Ethereum, XRP, which is Ripple, Bitcoin Cash, EOS, Litecoin, 88, which is a Cardano, XLM, Stellar Lumens, IOTA, and Tron. So all of them came down big time because Bitcoin is the king of them all. Whenever that dips in such a huge dump like that, that's going to happen to pretty much every coin out there on the market. And of course, that's confirmed with the change over the last 24 hours, with being the only one in the green over the last 24 hours, everything basically down into the red. And what that really portends is an area that people tend to talk about in terms of charts. And what we're talking about here is we're talking about the stage of the market. And within the stage of the market, you basically have different areas. You say smart money takes off, first sell-off, bear trap, media attention, enthusiasm, greed, delusion, new paradigm. Well, you could take a look at Bitcoin and you can say, okay, what happened in Bitcoin in a new paradigm? Well, you could say this run-up that we had up through December of last year, that could be the new paradigm. And then you have denial, a bull trap, traps people into buying more, return to normal, fear, capitulation, despair, return to the mean. So basically, what stage are we in? I think that when you look at this chart, and if you rely on this chart, don't. For the sake of your own wallets and your investments, don't rely on this chart, because as soon as you rely on pure technical analysis or charting, you're going to get burned. And the burn was basically yesterday with that big drop that we had yesterday. But in midst of the overall markets, you could say, well, is that any bigger than any other drop? Well, if we take a look over here, and we could say, well, here we had a 10% drop. Yesterday's, go down to the bottom of this wick here, right around a 5% or so drop. So don't rely on the full analysis, because if you take a look at what's been happening since then, and even looking at the 5-minute candles, you can see it's bounced off the bottom down here again at that that 70, where'd it drop? 71.90, 71.62 level, somewhere around there, and it's waffling in here again. And again, you have increased volume, so you do have some bulls getting back in or reinvesting into it. But again, it's something that could be, it's something you really want to take a look at and be careful of what doing it. And then, of course, what caused it? Nobody knows what caused it. I took a look at it, and what caused a flash crypto crash to wipe 15 billion out of the market in just 2 hours yesterday. And again, you'll never know possibly what it was. People are probably doing an investigation. They haven't posted their stories of what happened yet. I went into the Mt. Gox wallet earlier today, and I didn't see anything in there, but maybe something wasn't up there. Some people were saying it was a manipulation investigation done by the U.S. Commodity Futures Trading Commission, which has subpoenaed several large exchanges. We covered that yesterday in the video. And again, if you look at us covering the CFTC yesterday, and then go back into episode 2 yesterday at the 5-minute and 20-second mark of that video, episode number 3, take a look at what I said there. It was very foretelling, and I had no idea what was going to happen. I still don't know if that's the break and we're going to go down. It's an unknown right now because of the volume levels. And again, the whole thing about don't short a dull market is very, very true. And so you have to be careful about there. Now, if you like this content, please do me a favor. Click like on this video. Hit that subscribe button down in the lower right-hand corner. And please subscribe if you like the content that we're sharing here. Again, we're going to try and bring you the news that breaks. We're going to be able to give you what's going on with the specific markets, etc. And to that end, I want to take a look at what's going on in the red. And this is a site I've talked about before in prior videos, coin360.io. And what I learned this morning is that basically, if you're looking at this chart and you zoom in, you zoom out, so this is 100%, you don't get to see any of the labels. But if you zoom in, which is a Control Plus on your keyboard, and I'm at 75%, 60, and basically take that down. If you take that down, the chart will stay the same size. It will give you the names of some of the cryptocurrency coins that are on there. So it is something that, again, everything is basically in the red. You can take a look at. There's a little bit of green starting to come back there. That's certainly a good sign. Again, USD Tether, trying to be a stable coin at about $1. BTC down 4.66%. Again, bounced off of its low. Ethereum down 5.53%, again, bounced off of its low. Bitcoin Cash down a lot more, 7.81%. XRP 6.83%. Litecoin down 4.77%. So there's a lot of stuff that's going on in the markets. And you could say, does some of this represent a buy opportunity? Well, I think on some of these, it definitely does. EOS, again, I don't own any EOS. I've traded it here and there, but I don't own any right now. Doing the research on that coin, who is basically, I'm not going to give the person's name, but you can Google who is one of the founders of that chain, and Block One, and his first name is Brock. If you go into his background, I am not a fan. So I don't think I will ever hold that, and long term, even if they look at doing something. So again, the CFTC commissioner yesterday also came out. This is a story, that came out this morning. And it says, CFTC commissioner, cryptocurrency will proliferate to every economy in every country. You can't stop this. When I talk about the CFTC, when I talk about the SEC, and a lot of folks will go on YouTube and the Twitterverse, and they'll talk about, what happens in the United States doesn't really matter because of the globalization of cryptocurrencies. While that statement may be true, what you also have to take into account is that a lot of other governments around the world look to regulation guidance within the United States economy. So that's the SEC, that's FinTech, that is going to be the CFTC, whether they're calling it a security, a commodity, or property, as the IRS calls it. What's going to happen? And so one of the quotes he said is, "We are witnessing a technological revolution. Perhaps we are witnessing a modern miracle. Virtual currencies will become part of the economic practices of any country, anywhere." Let me repeat that these currencies are not going away, and they will proliferate to every economy and every part of the planet. Again, these currencies are not going away, and they will proliferate to every economy and every part of the planet. So who is this guy? Rostin Behnam, and he's an aforementioned commissioner of the CFTC. He took the stage at the UN Plaza in New York, where he basically expressed positive views on the cryptocurrency industry. So I think that's important to remember as well. And so again, if you like the content we're giving, smash that like button, hit the subscribe, click on the little bell notification. You'll be notified of when we have an additional video going up. So again, one of the last things that we're going to want to take a look at is, again, taking a look at Bitcoin, but I want to take a look at Ethereum. And Ethereum, it is something that I do hold. It is something that I do believe in. And what I did was I did a little research last night and this morning on dApps. Now, dApps are basically smart contracts, or dApp stands for decentralized applications that run on the backbone of the Ethereum network. And so this was a story that CoinDesk came out with this morning about 0940 UTC, and we're sitting at 0852 UTC minus 7 right now, so a few hours ago. And what they're looking at is, what are the top 5 applications that are running, or the top 5 apps by daily active users. And so IDEX is one, and IDEX is currently reporting 6,479 users in the 24 hours prior to our snapshot. That is number one. It's the most used Ethereum dApp in that period. Number two, Fork Delta. Fork Delta had 2,221 users. Again, Fork Delta is a decentralized exchange. I have not looked at any of these sites, so I really don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they're safe. I don't know if it's good. What I do like is the fact that there are decentralized applications that are running on Ethereum. You take a look at something like EOS that wants to compete, and there's nothing yet. They're still in the testing phase after releasing their mainnet. So Bancor, 560 users in 24 hours prior. CryptoKitties, looking at the gaming sector, had 408 users in the 24 hours, and this allows them to basically trade CryptoKitties, which has arguably attracted more attention than any other app from players, media, investors, imitators, and non-users who felt the effects of CryptoKitties' popularity due to increased congestion on the Ethereum network. And so the game allows users to collect, trade, and breed unique, non-replicatable cats. Yes, cats. These are, in fact, ERC 721 tokens, Ethereum-based assets that, according to CryptoKitties co-founder Arthur Camara, could eventually be used to tokenize real-world assets such as art and real estate. Aha. Real estate. Hopefully down the road I can sell this house that I live in and be able to do it on a blockchain, and it wouldn't matter. I wouldn't have to use an escrow company or anything like that. And then number 5, local Ethereum, smartest way to buy and sell Ether. Again, 236 users in the last 24 hours. Not something that I know about, but again, that's kind of, I thought that was something interesting and to finish up with today's video. So again, Bitcoin, it looks like it's bounced off of the low a little bit here, and it's bounced off the low to a rise of about 0.81%. If we take a look at that again, topped out at 1.7, probably 1.72, 1.75%, right around there, after a huge drop again while we were on the air yesterday, or while we were doing a video yesterday, 5.94%, right in that range. Big drop. However, it's bounced off of that bottom. What's going to happen next? Who's to know? If we take a look again at what happened yesterday with that dump that we saw while we were recording episode 2, again, go back to the 525 or the 520 mark on episode number 3 yesterday. I'm sorry, not episode 2, but episode 3 yesterday. I talked about what could possibly happen on that break, and I basically said, well, if it goes down, we may end up hitting levels that could, get rid of the dots down here, that could be in this particular range. Just draw quick estimation here, down to the 6,500 level. Is it going to go down to that level? Well, that basically says that's the next drop. However, I think that there's a good chance that there's some resistance right about here, and I'll talk about that real quick here since we're doing this video here on episode 4. And we take that line across, we zoom it in, and we say, well, 7,160 level. Well, it looks like it bounced off of that. This is where it's at right now. We'll take a look at possibly tomorrow. I'll do another episode. But you know, what will happen in that range? Will it hold this old resistance level? Well, it dropped a little bit below that over here, and that would say that the next support could be down here as low as, again, the 6,600 level. We'll wait and see and take a look. If you like this video, again, hit the subscribe, hit the like button, click the bell for notifications. I'm your host, Joseph. You've been watching CryptoSonar episode 4. I hope you enjoyed the content, and we'll see you next time. Keep the faith, everybody.